Hi everybody, it's Dr. Kathy again. How are you? I heard that some men are not sexually satisfying their women, their partners, their wives. I can't believe it. So we are going to talk about it tonight. All right, y'all? I am going to talk about why the men, not too many of y'all, just some of y'all, are not pleasing their women. Now, thank you to the men that are pleasing their women. I am very grateful because I know there are plenty of you out there doing the right thing for the right woman and knowing that women need to be pleased. But I'm talking about men that actually feel that we don't need to have any sexual pleasure. And why am I saying that? I have met them in my own clinic. And I think we need to do something about it. Yep, you guys should join us too, okay? All right, so let's talk about it. First of all, I have 4 categories as to why, or to explain why, it's possible, right, that these men have an excuse. So let's put them in 4 categories. The first category is upbringing, okay? The most obvious. They were not brought up to talk about sex with anybody. Father, mother, uncles, aunts, siblings. These poor guys really did not get a chance to learn about sex from the beginning, from when they were teenagers. And so they grew up without having an idea how to satisfy a woman. Remember, it was taboo, right? No one talked about it back then, and even up till now, right? So we have to do a better job of talking to our children about satisfying their partner. Now, of course, not an easy topic, but I truly believe that if we take this seriously, we can make a big difference and start teaching not only ourselves, but our children. Guys, your children, how to satisfy their partner. Very important. So they were not taught, right? No one talked about it. And then when you add religion to another reason as to why no one really learned about sex, the guys that don't know about sex, you're going to find out that the religion also sort of made it taboo and made it so that you guys really didn't talk about it much. And then I'm like, okay, depending on the religion, we all know the different religions that do have that opinion that sex should be for marriage. So that could be something that influenced the men not to learn about sex until they got married. And we know times have changed, right? So men are learning about sex. So the guys that have that excuse of religion, I'm sorry, it doesn't work anymore. Does not work. So we have to change that attitude and use the church and go to the church and ask them to help you learn about sex. Because there are classes in some of the churches, or at least there used to be. Some of them do still have them. So find a church that has classes where you can actually learn about sex. Sex education, I know, has been taken out of the schools, and even in the schools it wasn't the best anyways, but we do need to learn about it, and we have books, we have videos, we have all sorts of different things on the website now, right, that you can learn about sex. And if you have any questions, reach out to someone like me that will answer your questions and actually be able to help you learn a little bit more about things you didn't learn when you were growing up. So again, yes, upbringing really impacted our men. So for those men that had that issue of upbringing, it's not too late. You can still reach out, learn. Again, the Kama Sutra is the first book that most people talk about, and there are so many other great books out there that you can read and learn about having the ability and the knowledge to satisfy your women, right? So that I don't come after you. Okay? All right, that's the first category. Second category is the selfish man, who I really want to get after. The selfish man is the man that doesn't care. The man that says, I don't believe women need to be satisfied. Who cares if women are satisfied? I have heard that myself. So the question is, where did they get that from? And from what I understand, I've tried to do the research, very hard to find any studies or any articles on this topic because it hasn't been done. Why? You can imagine the culture across the world. People have their own ideas about sex. So this is something that would probably be very difficult to achieve and very hard to do. But the reality is that most of these men really don't care, and they're brought up not to care. They're actually taught that sex is for them, the men, and not for the women. Now, obviously, that's not in this country, thank goodness, but we do have to consider the fact that there are men that might also not care because of a psychological reason, right? Narcissism, a sociopath, a psychopath. These are guys that have no emotion and have no feelings. So ladies, take note. If you're dealing with someone that has that, therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, all the team of psych people need to get involved there because you cannot handle that on your own. Okay? Now, if it's a guy that's a little bit selfish and we can talk to him and go for counseling, fine. But the person that really does things like I had a guy that did things to punish her, to show that sex was not for her, right? So things like that can happen because there's something going on upstairs in the man's life. And so if you find yourself in that situation, please get him serious psychological, psychiatric help, okay? Right, so that's the guy that really doesn't, want to satisfy. So he could be also lazy, right? So the lazy guy that feels, yeah, sex, what's the big deal? What's the value in sex? What does sex mean? Some guys feel sex is not important. Sex is just to procreate. Sex is, again, something that you do when you're interested in it, and when you're not, you don't do it, and when you do it, it's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, for some guys. Or the point here is that we want those guys that are lazy to stop being lazy, right? Stop being lazy and try and get involved with your partner. So the lazy guy has some hope, right? We can also, talk to them in the offices, like my office, or doctors like me, or you can get friends. You can even get the church involved also. Again, that is positive about sex, and talk about getting back that spice in life, right? Learning how to satisfy your partner. And I'm saying this for the men that are not doing it. The guys that are doing it, mwah, thank you. We love you. But the guys that are not, absolutely not acceptable. We have got to step in and say, no, we're not taking that, we're not accepting it, and we're going to go on strike. All right, ladies, think about that, all right? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but seriously, the guys that really are, a little bit on the fence, a little bit on the edge, where they can probably be convinced to have that change in mind, right? They're the ones that we're trying to get, right? So the guys that really can maybe talk with their guy friends, and I know guys don't always talk about this, but you encourage them to talk with their friends. Are they satisfying their friends and girlfriends and wives and partners? And the answer is, I believe, if I could guess based on my practice, and again, I am not giving you any numbers that I've done any studies or anything, but I truly feel that in my practice, most men are, but it's not that high. I'd say about 60% of men are satisfying their partner. Again, this is for the men. Women need to hear this. You need to step up and tell the men you don't accept this. Okay? Now, whatever the reason is, I'm naming it now, so I want you guys to find out which one it is and do something about it. Ladies, okay? For you guys, same thing. I want you to step up to the plate and say, you know what, I'm going to change today. Dr. Kathy's convinced me. I haven't finished with the categories yet, but Dr. Kathy has convinced me that yes, I am going to change and satisfy my woman to the hilt, right? That's what we want. We don't want women walking around depressed and tempted to do something else outside the home. We want you guys to step up to the plate again and satisfy her the way she wants it. Communication is key. We can talk about more of how to satisfy your wife or your partner or your girlfriend on another talk, but right now I'm talking to the guys to get you shaken up and to make you realize that you really do need to satisfy your woman, because she is a gift to you. She is in your home, and she deserves that beautiful gift of great sex. And it's not fair to punish her by not indulging. And if you're not indulging because of one of the two reasons I mentioned so far, which is upbringing, you can get more information. If it's because you don't care, you can change, as long as you're not a sociopath or narcissist. The third reason is physically or mentally or emotionally, you're not capable of satisfying your partner. All right, men. So, physical, we know. It could be you're in pain. You could be sick, right? You could have had some heart conditions, even though heart conditions now, they say you should have sex the first week after you've had heart surgery. Yep, that's what they say now. Whoopee! The doctors say, if you've had an open heart surgery, anything on the heart, go and have sex within a week. Good for the circulation, haha. But apart from that, if you've had some other major surgery like back surgery or brain surgery, I'll understand, okay. But how long will that last? It's brief. It shouldn't be forever. You really have to try and get better and heal, and know I'm going to be planning to heal and get back to satisfy my woman, right? Most men do. But for those men that will use it as an excuse, physical ailment like surgery, no. But get it taken care of so that it's no longer an excuse. And I know there are some that you can't take care of. I know there are some diseases and some surgeries and some conditions where you're going to be in pain for a while, chronic pain. But even then, get some help, and please understand that you can still satisfy your partner in so many ways, more ways than one, so that she will be able to say, my darling loves me and satisfies me in the bedroom, which is what I want to hear, all right? We're going to revolt, we're going to make some sort of protest, and you'll see us on the streets, and we're going to say, we want great sex because we deserve it. But if you're in pain, take care of the pain, see your doctor, and take care of that pain, all right? Erectile dysfunction, my topic that I do every day. Yes, we do have reasons why men cannot have sex because they have something going on in the genital region or psychologically that's connected to the genital region. And this region can be helped. As long as you are looking for an answer, you will find it. But don't hide and say, I'm not going to look for an answer. I'm not going to try and find a solution, because there are doctors like me all over this country, all over the world, that can help you repair, rejuvenate, come back. And since Viagra and Cialis, come on, you guys have no excuse. That stuff is great to help with erectile dysfunction, with consulting your doctor, of course. You have to consult your doctor, because I don't know what your medical history is. But you can get help using these lovely blue pills, and you can actually use other things, which I'm not going to go into, to help if you have ED, erectile dysfunction. Now, remember, there are so many other reasons that you can be incapable of making love. If you're psychologically, PTSD, if you're not there, you're depressed, you're bipolar, you're schizophrenic, I understand. Please get help. Emotionally. Now, emotionally is something that you really should be able to control, right? Emotion is something that if you are aware that your emotion is going haywire, meaning you're thinking crazy thoughts about your wife or your partner, oh, she's having an affair, which is the most common thing I hear, which is not always true. So please be careful with that thought. But emotionally, there are men that are very passionate and very, either they're all in or they're all out, or they're just very all over the place. So those men that use emotion to say, I am not going to have sex with your partner, to punish her again, please stop that. This is not a reason. Emotions need to be controlled. You need to grow up. You need to become a man and understand. Talk to your buddies and understand that being emotional is the last thing you want to be, because you cannot act in emotion. You have to be calm and cool to be able to make proper decisions regarding being with your partner sexually. And yes, anxiety is not a good thing for the bedroom either, so we need to take care of anxiety. So yeah, we do know that you could be either incapable of it, doing it in terms of a physical, mental, emotional, even a social reason, right? Because it might be something about your job or something, stress, we know all that. But that should be brief. That should not be long, should not last a long time. We want to get to the bottom of it, get rid of it, and then you go back to satisfying your partner. So that would be the third category. The fourth category is really interesting. The fourth one is you've lost attraction to your partner. Now that is common. We've heard that, which is why we have all these affairs and people cheating, and we have all these babies that are not supposed to be there and they're there suddenly, right? So we do not want to joke about it, but attraction being lost happens. You fall out of love, right? You meet someone else, right? But I'm not going to let you escape with that, because even if you do lose the attraction, fall out of love, you still need to be able to be there for her, have the conversation, get some marriage counseling, get some partner counseling, find out whether that attraction can come back. Because sometimes you can fall back in love with your partner. But yeah, I know your partner has to partake and has to step it up too to become, you know, what you want. But that's something you would have you discuss in the counseling sessions with your psychologist or their therapist. So yes, when you lose attraction because she's boring in the bedroom, she can become more exciting in the bedroom, right? So have that open discussion. You're really supposed to communicate. Communication is the key, and you really need to be open with her, see what she wants, you tell her what you want, and you make sure that both of you are on the same page. Otherwise, you'll find that you'll never get on the same page, and you'll always think the grass is greener somewhere else, and you get into trouble. We really don't want that. Please, if you are thinking you've lost attraction, try and have that conversation with her. Come down to her level and say, babe, this is what I want. And see what she says. See if she's open. If she's not, get some help so that she can get on the same page with you, okay? Now, in the same frame of losing attraction, there could also be another reason, and that could be the person, the guy, has a different preference. And I'm going to throw that in only because I'm in Atlanta, and in Atlanta we have a lot of people that have different preferences. You know, the bisexual, the homosexual, and I do have situations where the men suddenly, out of the blue, tell their wives or their partner that they are not attracted to them because they have changed their preferences. And if that's the case, that is something that you're definitely going to need help with. But there's also hope, because sometimes the relationship can be saved, especially if the man wants to stay in the relationship. Now, it's up to you, females, it's up to you, women. If you want to stay, that's a personal decision. I am not against it. I am not someone that's going to say leave. I am the person that's going to say it all depends on the pros and cons. Weigh your options and see what will benefit you. If staying is safer and you love him and he's a great guy, fine, that's your decision. But make sure he is satisfying you. Make sure that changes so that in the bedroom you are pleased. If you can handle it, go for it. If you cannot, get some help. You might have to end up in the divorce courts. I'm hoping you will not, but if you do, make it amicable so that you guys will be friends and there'll be no animosity, and you'll be able to move on and find someone else that can please you in the bedroom if your partner is not. So, those are a few of Dr. Kathy's, no one else. I could not find any articles. Those are some of my ideas as to why some men, and I'm saying, again, thank you guys for the guys that do it and satisfy the women. We appreciate you. But the guys that say they don't care, or they have a physical ailment or an emotional or psychological or mental issue, take care of it. For those guys that were not brought up talking about it, come on, we're in the millennium now. We do not want to hear that as an excuse. We want to see you join us and satisfy the women because we deserve it. We are a gift to you. And I think that when you have a beautiful gift, you should treasure it and you should show it love especially great sex. Okay, guys? All right. Enough from me tonight. Enjoy your night. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.